What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Authentically RGB TV, also known as AAB TV. And if you're watching, y'all know it's Wednesday, and it is time for another recap of Abbott Elementary Season 2, Episode 10, Hookah Holiday. Now let's get into the video. So the show opens up with Janine walking through the hallway, hearing some commotion, hearing some music, a lot of wondering like what the heck is going on. And she enters into a room where she is surprised to see Jacob and Jacob's boyfriend, who is actually singing and teaching some students some Christmas carols. And they're supposed to be traveling to Pittsburgh, and Jacob's like he doesn't want to go, but this is something that his boyfriend volunteered to do. And what was so funny was that he would not talk to Janine. He would not acknowledge her unless Janine was in like singing in the conversation. So he was just like, I'm volunteering and I'm not getting paid for this. And then Janine will come back and be like, it's so nice to see you. I didn't know you were doing this and all the other stuff. So that was really, really funny. And I do that type of stuff all the time. So I thought that was really funny. And so after that, we see Janine in a classroom and she's handing out Christmas cookies because this particular episode, it is, of course, the holiday episode. And Janine didn't want to say Christmas because not everybody celebrates Christmas. So, you got to make it, just, you got to make it fair for everyone, or however you want to say it. So she was passing out cookies, and each decoration on each cookie was specific to whatever holiday during this season in December that particular student celebrated. So we had Christmas, we had Hanukkah, we had Kwanzaa. She named some other ones that I can't really remember at the moment. And then she had a student that literally just had icing on his cookie because he was Jehovah's Witness, I believe, and they don't necessarily celebrate all of those type of holidays. And so I thought that was kind of funny. And we learned, like I said, that they are having all of these different Christmas programs, and it's the last day for the children and the staff before this 2-week Christmas break. And when I tell y'all I am counting down the days, I am counting down the days. And so everybody's like basically going over their plans that they're going to be having during their break, getting some much needed rest, getting a little relaxation away from the kids, and knowing that the kids are excited about this 2-week break as well. So we find out that Janine's friend Erica, who we met, I think, in a couple of episodes prior to this one, had invited her out that evening. They're gonna go to a hookah lounge or club, however you want to call it, and she was pretty excited. She said she's excited to meet new people other than her work crew. And she bumps into Greg and they have a conversation, and he's telling her, yeah, my friends are gonna take me out too, and I can't wait to just relax, like take a load off, and enjoy my night. And that was pretty much their conversation then. And we also learned that Greg is basically dating Amber, whom Janine is still kind of like side-eyeing the entire situation, because we all know deep down inside, like I have said since season 1, that they really do like each other. And so it's kind of like that crush that you don't really let everybody know is a crush on both ends, because Greg likes her too. But again, they're friends. Janine mentioned that she's glad that they've got closer this school year, and she just wishes him the best over holiday break. And then we move over to Melissa and Barbara, who are excited to end the school day with their annual like little Christmas celebration that they have. And because Jacob isn't going with his boyfriend to Pittsburgh with the choir, he decides that he's going to join them. Now, they're not too happy about it because we all know that they like to keep things to themselves. They don't want to be interrupted with talkative Janine and talkative Jacob. But Barbara decides to, spread the holiday cheer and and invite them. And so that is what they did. So once the school day is over, we see that Janine and Erica are standing outside the line in the club, and Janine done straighten her hair out. She's got on this little dress above the knee. She's looking real cute, giving the girls a run for their money. And they're up there talking about how they're gonna have a good time, how she's ready to let loose, how she's ready to turn up, get lit. And then while they're standing in the line, they hear a male's voice saying like, "Hey ladies, how y'all doing?" They turn around and they see this guy that of course they don't know, and then his friend pops up, and it ends up being, you guessed it, Greg. So both him and Janine were kind of shocked, and they had this like awkward interaction of seeing each other. And they was basically like, "What are you doing here? No, what are you doing here? Do you come here often?" And neither one of them, I'm sure, thought that they were going to be ending up at the same spot. And also, Greg probably never, looked at Janine as the type that goes to the club. And the way that he was looking her up and down, the way that, he was just like, whoa, just seeing her outside of her work teacher, Miss Teague outfits. He even told her, like, "You look good." And she was like, "Yeah, you look good too." And then, y'all, as they're just like, being awkward as they always are towards each other, here comes another coworker. You guessed it, Ava, with her crew walking down past the line, because of course Ava, she don't do the line. She gets the VIP treatment everywhere she goes. And she's got this white fur on, and she's got her crew up there with her. They looking good, and she's just like, she noticed them, but again, she pays them no mind, because she's, like she said, "I don't do lines." And so while they get into the club, Janine is kind of like freaking out because she has coworkers there, her boss is there, and she doesn't feel as though she's ready to let loose. And her friend Erica has been dancing, she's turning up, she's drinking, she's doing all that she came to the club to do. And she kind of encourages Janine to do the same. Like, she told her, like, "You're grown, that you're not at work, and you can do whatever you want to do." Like, and at the same time, she's sitting down, in their section, and Greg and his friend are over at the bar, but they keep on looking at each other. They keep on making eye contact. And Janine's friend Erica was just basically like, "I'm about to go do me, so I suggest that you do you, and you let loose, and you have fun. Like, that's what we came to do. You're acting like you got a man at home, and you don't. Last time I checked, you are single. You're no longer with Tariq. Yes, this may be your first holiday, alone per se, because you're not in a relationship anymore, but this is the time for you to live, let loose, have a little fun." And while they're having their discussion, Greg and his friend is having their discussion over there, and he's like, "Don't you think you need to go talk to your coworker?" And Greg is kind of like brushing him off, like, "No, I'm fine, I'm straight." And he was like, "Well, shoot, I'm about to go over there and shoot my shot at her." And he was like, "No, like, no, you're not." And I was like, do I sense a little bit of jealousy, Greg? But he knew that his friend was a player, and was basically like, "She's a relationship type. You do not need to be going over there talking to her, messing with that girl, knowing that you don't want a relationship. Like, don't even do her like that." Then his friend decides to turn his eyes to Ava, and he's like, "Heck no, that's my boss. Like, you're not about to go talk to her either." So I guess his friend decided, spotted somebody else, and then walked off, and we didn't see him for a while. So then again, they're both just keep on just sitting there, just sitting there, kind of dancing to the music by yourself a little bit. Don't want to really bother too many people. You're not really hyped to be in the middle of the dance floor or whatever. And so then Greg decides to just finally go over there, and they sit down and they talk. Meanwhile, while they're at the club, being awkward as heck, Melissa and Barb are back at the school at their little annual little dinner that they put together, and Jacob is there, and they're trying to enjoy themselves. They've invited him into, their like personal little get together little space, and alongside him we have Mr. Johnson, the janitor. And the whole entire time, like, Barb is trying to like take Jacob in, basically, like, let him talk, let him have his fun. And the whole time he's just this whole spiel about why he doesn't like the holidays, what this means, what it actually means, just all of this stuff that's basically like putting a damper on their celebration, and Melissa's not for it. She's not with it. She's just like, okay, I'm really trying to be nice, but you're really ruining it for me. And so she just decides to peace out. She decides to leave because she was like, I just can't take it anymore. And Barb just, follows her. And so Jacob is looking like, I'm just trying to have a conversation. The holidays aren't really the best of time for me. And we get the wisdom and the advice that Mr. Johnson so lovingly gives all the time to his fellow coworkers. And he basically tells him like, yo, like, you are really putting a damper on what we're trying to have here. You're basically having this bah humbug type of attitude and don't like it. They don't like it. How would you feel if this is something that you enjoyed and somebody came and just rain on your parade? Like, you are making this so unbearable, so uncomfortable. Like, this is something that they enjoy doing it, and you're really, really making them basically regret even inviting them there. Like, we trying to turn up too. We're trying to relax. We're trying to have our wine. We're trying to have our dinner. We're trying to have fun. And here you are just pooping all over the entire situation. And so Jacob was just, like I said, he opened up a little bit and let Mr. Johnson know, like, I don't really jig with Christmas. I don't really like the holidays because it just never was a good time for me growing up. And he just settled in that space and just never realized how much of a Grinch, as he called himself, he was being. And so he decides to take it upon himself to go and make up for just, ruining the party. And as he's coming up with this idea, he runs out really fast out of the school in the middle of Barbara and Melissa having their conversation, which basically sounded like they were having a conversation like, hey, I tried to invite him. Next year, I won't, And so he's just like, I'll be back, ladies. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back. The party's still on. Don't leave. And they're kind of looking at each other like, okay, it's cold outside. Let's go back in the building. So as they go back in the building, we go back to the club. And we see Greg and Janine have decided to go to the dance floor. And they're trying to, like, dance. They're trying to get into the groove of things. But again, this is my coworker. This is my friend. Like, I don't really feel comfortable letting loose with you, but because I know you and you know me, let's go out here and do, try. So they're dancing. It's awkward. So Erica comes up, finds Janine, and snatches her away. And like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why are you not, like, backing it up on him? Or why are you not just living right now? Why are you not enjoying yourself? Like, you look crazy out here. I brought you here so that you, again, can have fun, learn to let loose. We all know that is very, very hard. And of course, I'm pretty sure Janine felt like she was not in her comfort zone. So I get that as well. It's hard for me to be myself if I'm not in my comfort zone either. So like I said, I can truly relate to that. So she was just like, gave her another pep talk and told her, like, basically, like, repeat after me. I'm going to basically turn up and I'm going to have fun. And she did. They laughed and then they parted ways again. And then then here comes a slow song and they're like slowly grinding on each other and everybody's just like in the moment. And then we cut to Ava, who has been living her whole entire life in the club, getting her whole entire life in the club, dropping it low, twerking, dancing, just having fun as Ava always does. And she's at the bar and she turns around and she's just like, not my work husband and my work nemesis together on the dance floor. And then has this whole moment where she's like, tells the bartender to give her a shot that she can spit out as if to add the dramatics to it. It was so funny. I don't know. And in the midst of this, I know this ain't got nothing to do with the show, but me and my mom were texting like, I love this show. It's so black. Blackity black black. It's so funny. It's so relatable. It's so real. And especially for those of us who are in like our 30s, late 20s. I mean, it can be relatable for older people too, but it's just like they're around my age. So it's just like, this is how it really is in this professional or, you know, career type of vibe, and you're just trying to like figure things out. You know, I don't know. It's just so relatable. I love this show. So, anyways, getting back to the club scene. Like I said, Ava done spotted them, and she goes, and they're in the midst of, you know, starting to loosen up. Janine was just like closing her eyes and like enjoying the moment, and here comes Ava popping up, and she said something, I don't remember what she said, but Janine just like, "Ooh, I need to I need to get out of here. Like, it's just too much for me." And Greg just decides to follow her outside. So as that's happening and they're making their way outside, we get a view back of Jacob, and he's running out of the liquor store again, almost about to get hit for the second time, running across traffic. And he gets back to the school. He thinks he's locked out, because of course it's after hours. But then as he's trying to pull on the door, he doesn't realize that Mr. Johnson is on the other end. And as he's pulling, Mr. Johnson pushes, and then Jacob falls. And he's like, "Boy, what are you doing? Like, get up." And he realizes, you know, he done, you know, went to go get something to give as like a peace offering. You know what I'm saying? Like to say, "I'm sorry for ruining your dinner," as I said before. So when he gets into the teacher's lounge, Melissa and Barbara, they're packing up, they're over it, they're ready to go, and he's like, no, like, stop, I just want to apologize, I didn't mean it." And then again, he opens up and lets them know about his history with the holidays and about Christmas, and how it was always a bunch of arguing and a bunch of drama and toxicity growing up, and he just never really got that, you know, that feel good holiday cheer that everyone else has. And he basically like just felt like it was ruined for him, and he really didn't realize how much he was ruining for other people. And so, because again, he was going to be by himself on the holiday and didn't really care too much about it. And so they forgave him. You know, Barbara came, gave him a little hug, and um you know, he gave them a glass of both, I think, glass of wine, or a bottle of wine. I'm sorry. They gave him a bottle of wine, and that was that with them. And so then, as we see, Janine and Greg, I didn't try to put their names together already, Janine. They are walking out in the club, out of the club. They're just talking about how like crazy it was in there, how they were just like stressed to the max and overwhelmed with all this attention. And so they stop at the corner and they're having a conversation, and it begins to snow. And I was like, "Oh, it's so romantic. It's so romantic." It begins to snow. They begin to like look at each other with these like googly, dreamy eyes. And the music starts, and they're like looking like they're about to go in and have their moment. And I'm inside, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is it." And as they're going in like they're about to just kiss, Greg's phone starts vibrating. And who do you think it was? Miss Amber. She decided that she wanted to come out instead of staying home, and wanted him to meet her at a bar up the street, around the corner, whatever. And Janine was like, "Is that Amber?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so she was just like, "You know, just go ahead, go meet her." You know, he was like, "You're going to be okay if I leave?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going to call it a night and go home." And she just watches him walk up the block. And then as she turns around, his friend comes back, and he's like, "Hey, you're Janine." And, you know, basically like, "Greg told me about this and that about you." And she's like, "He talks about me? He told you about me?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then, you know, he was giving her these little cute little Snapple facts. And they was like kind of, you know, hit it off a little bit. And then he introduced himself, and we found out his name is Maurice. So I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of Maurice, because at first Greg was trying to stop him from talking to her. Y'all remember that? And then once Greg was gone, they kind of had a little moment together too. So, oh no, he was cute too. So we shall see. He had Janine smiling and stuff. So then after that, it was pretty much, you know, time to wrap up the episode. And Janine's standing outside in the cold in the snow, and she's waiting for her friend Erica, who is booed up the street with somebody she done met at the club. And out comes Ava, and she's just like, "Did you have a good time? Did you waste all your time with Greg? Where is he at?" Or whatever, just being the petty, smart aleck Ava that she is. And she's just like, well, what you got going on for tonight? And then Janine tells her, like, again, I'm going home, like, I'm calling it a night. She was like, well, you look cute, and I don't know the next time you're gonna look cute, so you're gonna be hanging with me and my boyfriend. And I was like, the same time Janine looked at her, I looked up, I was like, boyfriend? Since when did Ava have a boyfriend? Y'all, why Ava gonna say, what made you think I was single? Like, girl, the way that you be all up on Greg, the way that how you flirt and act, like, nobody would think that you would be tied down with nobody. And so she's just like, all right, I'll hang with y'all. That sounds fun. And that was that. And the end of the video, the end of the episode was basically us finding out who Ava's boyfriend was, who her man was. I don't remember his name, but I think he said call him Iggy. If y'all know his name, y'all can leave it in the comments. But he was a NBA basketball player. And Ava told us that basically, he's been dating me for 5 years, but I've only been serious with him about 2. Very Ava-ish. Like, she's a mess, y'all. Y'all should have saw her in the club. It was hilarious, and she was, like I said, she was in there getting it. And again, I love this show so much, and I am going to be so sad that we're not going to get any more new episodes on Wednesdays until the new year. So episode 10 was pretty much the end for 2022, and I cannot wait till 2023 when it comes back with some more Greg and Janine relationship things, because y'all, when I tell y'all I was ready for them to finally make it happen, like, I was just like, I was getting butterflies, like I was there with them. I cannot wait till they get together, because I know that it's gonna happen. But anyways, y'all, that was pretty much the episode. Holiday hookah, a bunch of just holiday storylines that, again, are so very relatable and hilarious at the same time. I love the show so much. So make sure y'all continue to keep watching it and streaming it on Hulu, and telling a friend about my recap every week after every episode. And I'll see y'all on the next one in 2023. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Peace.